And I'll say Anola Bonoit, good evening to you and welcome to this webinar for the 24th of July of 2025, and a very important webinar this evening. What the is going on over at AIMA? And we're looking at the 10 most Googled questions that have been asked of AIMA and the mess that's going on over there. And here, really, the human Google, the person to go to find out what's going on, and assisting her tonight is Gilda with Renata. So Gilda Pereira and Renata Monteiro from EI this evening, and we will look at those questions. And interestingly, Gilda, you're often confused, I think probably with Google because you're such an authority, but also EI because the company's EI.
Yes,
EI. So
yes.
how are you this evening? And just give us a sort of summary. How would you say things are going at IMA before we begin to unpack this on a more sort of granular level?
Well, I think that things are changing. We have a new government, and we are going under some changes with IMA. And most of people are very scared. And I think that most of this feeling is because there is a lot of misinformation.
Yes.
So we will be here to help you and to guide you and perhaps to calm you.
I can sort of hear palpable signs of relief already. So let's get into these questions. I mean, that's the way the internet seems to work now. You know, it's easy for us to find out what the big questions are and the most asked questions. And it's great that you're here with us to work our way through them this evening and see what's going on. So if I may begin, and I think you're going to kick things off for us this evening, Renata, up there in Porto, in the EI office, in the A office in Porto. Let's get straight into it. Why are IMA appointments nearly impossible to book? And this will be the lived and personal experience of many people here this evening. So why is it so blooming hard to book an appointment with IMA?
So good evening, Carl. I'm Renata, I'm a lawyer at EI. I'm based here in EI Porto branch, and I deal with IMA every day. So this is my job. And IMA, since they took over the immigration functions from SEF, they received thousands and thousands of processes to approve, to complete, and they're still trying to complete this backlog, this huge backlog. And they have the same staff. So they are trying they are trying to speed up the processes with the same staff, and they are overwhelmed, of course.
Yeah.
Because they are the same people work to speed up all these processes, and they end up that people are not able to get with IMA through the phone and by email, so they are overwhelmed. Okay.
Yes, and as you say, this was the takeover from SEF. SEF was dissolved, became AIMA, and it would appear then that no new staff have been taken on. They've had a reorganization, of course, different departments have come together, but there's no extra workforce for an increased workload. Can we is that a good analysis of the situation?
Yes, they have like a temporary structure called estrutura de missão that they hired people temporarily just to help with this expression of interest process. That was the thousand of process that were in backlog was the expression of interest. So they hired some people temporarily, actually, but these people are just working by the end of the year and then they will leave. It's just to help IMA in some kind of processes, but the other process, the normal procedure, it's the same IMA officers.
Okay, and not ideal with them being temps, of course, but hopefully that will help the general workload. Okay, so that's the background. How long would you say, Renata? I mean, as you said, you're dealing with IMA every day. You've got as good a sense of this as anybody. How long are residence card and visa delays actually taking in your experience, roughly speaking? Because obviously it varies from person to person and office to office. But can you give us a general sense of that?
So now from our experience, the legal deadline that IMA has to issue all the residence permits is 90 business days. But now in practice, they are not complying with this deadline, most of the IMA stores. So 4 months to 8 months, depending on the IMA store.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that. And in recent time, the news, of course, around citizenship, around foreigners law, there's all sorts going on. And these things, as Gilda said earlier on, are easily confused and add to a picture which can make people quite anxious. Has anything changed as just specifically to do with renewals? Are there legal changes? Are there administrative, bureaucratic changes, rules effectively to do with renewals and that process?
Yes, there were important changes in the renewal process. So the renewal was handled by the IRN before, and now they came back to AIMA. So the renewals now are the responsibility from AIMA. And they have two different procedures. For people that have cards that expired until 3rd of June this year, the process will be handled by these temporary extruders of AIMA, these temporary missions extruders. So people are going to receive an email to go there in person to these new extruders, okay? And people who cards expired from July 1st, they have now online platform to apply for the renewal, but the platform is not working very well.
Right.
It's not,
Yes.
some people are not able to register. There's some they are still seeing how the thing's going to work, but the platform is not working 100% yet. Okay.
Wow. Okay. So on the one hand, it would appear there is some good news and structural changes, but then these sorts of things end up happening where the platform isn't actually working and we've got to wait for them to be fixed. I mean, clearly they are under a lot of pressure and we can do without these sort of extra complications in the mix, but that's your experience of it. That's what you're seeing day to day. But why is it that AIMA don't respond to emails or phone calls? Is it that difficult to pick up a phone or answer a few emails? And we're used to it now, aren't we?
Yes, yes. Oh, the phone. Oh my God, the phone. We had to call of many times a day. But this problem, I believe it's because when AIMA were SEF, each AIMA delegation, each SEF delegation had a specific email address. So we used to talk with them with their specific email. But when SEF became AIMA, now they just have one email, one general email. So everybody send emails to this geral@AIMA. And this is one email for all the processes. And that's why they are not able to answer everybody on time. And the phone is the same. The phone, the phone is just for information. If you would like to ask for information, they provide that on the phone about your process. But it's very hard to get on the phone because everybody's calling because they do not get answers from email. So this is a subtle.
Wow.
Like this.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for your insight on that. And the big stress for everybody, of course, is if they have an expiry before their renewal. You know, basically, if their residence permit expires, what can they do? What should they do? What's your advice to people?
So good news is the government published a
I told
decree
you
that
it was to
postponed.
be here at 6:30.
I wonder, Hazel, would you mind muting for us
Couldn't
for
you
just a
made the
moment?
effort?
Hazel?
What sound?
Okay, let's see. I'm trying to find Hazel in our guest list here, Jerry. I wonder if we could help from our end here. But hello.
Hello.
Hey, that's not Hazel, is it? Right. Okay. Let me carry on with that behind the scenes. Renata, do you want to try again answering that question for us?
I pushed
Okay,
it.
so let's come back to the subject.
I can't find the Hazel household in my list here for some reason. But anyway, carry on, Renata. Do go ahead.
Okay. So the government published a decree law that says that all the residence permits that expired are postponed until 15th of October this year. So if you have a residence permit that is expired, don't worry, because the residence permit will all postponed to 15th of October.
Okay.
2025. Okay.
This
so
is the second kicking of down the can down the street, as it were.
Yeah.
Probably not the best way to refer to it, but I think everybody knows what I mean with that. So this is the second time it's been extended in this way.
Yes. And just until
I'm sorry. It's like the 10th time
Oh,
because
is it? Okay.
Yes, not the second. Yes, really.
Right, okay.
they keep doing this since 2020.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
right, okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay,
It's
so
the second most known, but it's since 2020.
yeah, thank you for that. Yes, okay. So this is a new normal then. It just keeps being extended, and the current extension is till October.
Yes, until they could get everybody on renewals, they are doing that.
Yes, but there is one difference now, and we must. I think there is hope because they always postponed from 6 months to 6 months, and now it's only 4 months and a half, right? So this means that they are hoping to have everything sorted out until the 15th of October.
Right. Okay.
There is hope.
They're crossing everything, fingers and everything,
Yeah.
for ahead of October. Okay. All right. Great. Renata, I think you're actually going back to work now, are you not? Is that right? You've joined us for the first part of the webinar, and you need to go back and help more people this evening, because the lines or the service is open until 10 o'clock in the evening. That's part of what's going on, is it, to assist?
Yes, yes. The temporary mission centers, they work until 10 p.m. So we have appointments going on until 10 p.m.
Amazing. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
We'll have to
If
go
you
back to work. Thank you very much.
No,
Good
thank you.
luck, Renata.
It's
Thank
amazing.
you.
I mean, thank you so much for joining us this evening and fitting us into your work schedule and letting us know what's going on, Renata. Great job this evening. Gilda's going to stay with us, of course. So thanks, Renata, and regards to all the hardworking team, both in Porto and in Lisbon of EI. Thanks very much for being here. All right, she's handing the baton over now to Gilda. Gilda, should we continue with some of the rules then? The new 2025 rules for residence permit applications, but a little sense of what's going on and what's new with Renata there. What can you add to that?
The most important rules are the ones that Renata said and that are in place already, and they have to do about the renewals.
Right.
All of the other things, it's still a speculation, because the law has been sent now today from the president to the Constitutional Court. So we don't know quite well what is going to happen.
But things are moving at an incredible pace, are they not?
Yes.
They would appear to be. Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. So we've covered the rules then, the latest rules, and we
I can give you my opinion, okay?
Yeah.
Which I think this will maybe answer some of your questions. So this right wing that won the elections, they have to do an agreement with Chega so that they could, come down with things and with this all immigrants and all that. So they came together and they did this project of law that it becomes much more demanding, not for people like you that are applying for D7s or D8s. This is more for people that are looking for a job, which doesn't make a lot of sense because we need lots of manpower, and for family reunion with people that come with the work contracts. And also they are being more strict with people that stay in Portugal irregularly, and then they go out to pick up a visa. Okay, so these are the biggest changes that are happening. I think that they did this so that Chega could come down a little bit, and now the president is doing what he has to do. He says, okay, there are some things here which I don't find very fair, and maybe they are not according to the constitutional. So we are going to send them to the Constitutional Court to make an evaluation. And this is perfect because the government did their job according to Chega. Chega is happy with the government, but the government knows that the president is going to have some sense, and the rules are going to be fair.
Right. Okay.
For everyone.
That's the kind of political context, isn't it? And some of the background of why this might have happened. And it appears from what you're saying that much of the heat is being felt by different types of potential residences, people who wanted to come to work under the manifestation d'interest, how you could come back in from, I think, from 2017, and just if you were looking for work, you could come and settle in Portugal. We're dealing with a lot of that, aren't we? And the problems, if you like, and the volume that was caused by that of interest in Portugal.
Yes, they clearly said that no more manifestações de interesse. So you cannot come to the country as a tourist and then find a job, okay?
Right.
Because this was what caused the huge backlog. Many people came to Portugal. Many of them don't even want to stay in Portugal, but just because it was easier, they came to Portugal and then went to other countries in Europe. So they had to change. Now they are trying to catch up all the work that was left behind because of the manifestação de interesse. And now, if you want to work in Portugal, you need to have a work contract and you need to have a Portuguese company supporting your visa and sponsoring your trip to Portugal. Okay, so this is quite different, which I don't think is bad because it's what happened in most of the countries. Okay,
Yes.
so that you make sure that when people come here, they will have a job and they are going to be well treated and they are not going to be under uncertainty scenes that were happening with the manifestação de interesse.
Yep.
Also, one thing that changed is that they created a new visa for people that were seeking for a job, the job seeker visa. And many people, what they were doing with this visa was they applied for the visa, they couldn't find a work contract and they would stay. So now they are going to be penalized for that. And if they stay without a visa, they cannot apply during 5 years.
Okay, all right. So
Okay.
some pretty drastic changes at that end of
Yes.
of the demand for living in Portugal, which of course is affecting the sort of visas that most people who are here on this call tonight are interested in, mainly the D7, of course, and the whole volume, the whole backlog has caused these problems, which is what we're addressing tonight and is causing all the trouble for AIMA.
And just one more thing. Now, with this proposal that it's not approved yet, they say that the only people that can apply for the job seeker visa are the highly qualified ones.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for that bit of background. That's really helpful. Coming back to this problem and the intransigence, the mess, the fog at AIMA, it looks like it's a bit of a ruse, this, a little bit of a hack for AIMA themselves, but there seems to be rejection of incomplete applications. What do you think is going on there? And that would cause a worry for people, wouldn't it? That if they think their paperwork isn't in order and they're just going to get put to the back of the queue if there's something wrong with it. What's your view? What's your comment on that?
Well, my comment on that is that they are now trained because they hired many more people specifically to these missions departments, and they give this guide to the people according to the law, and now they can only take the processes if the processes are complete.
Right.
What happened before? Before, they could take the process if 1 or 2 papers were missing, and they would notify you saying, okay, we will take your process, but you have 10 days to give us the papers that are missing. Now it's different.
Yep.
You need to go with all the paperwork.
Yep.
So this has becoming more demanding, and that's why we also have much more people asking for us to go with them to AIMA,
Right.
because it's something that normal people think that they could do on their own, but now it's much more difficult, to be honest, because they are sending many processes behind.
Yeah, so to be fair to AIMA, it's actually probably a good thing that it's right the first time and doesn't create more work down the line with added complications. So I can see that the logic of that, but also that calls for input from you, as you say. It's perhaps not so easy for the layperson to do it, and it's good to hire some professional help to make sure that everything is in order on the first appointment, so you don't get that rejection.
Yes.
Okay.
But there is also one unfair thing that is happening.
Uh-huh.
Even people that come with us to the AIMA, sometimes we have everything correct and they are rescheduling because of the system, because there aren't enough people, and because, I don't know, just because. So we are having some problems with, of course, with our clients. They are not happy with it. It's not our fault, but it's not their fault also. But this has a huge impact on our job. And
What
then
do you mean with that, though, Gilda? Like you would go to the appointment and then get rescheduled, having a right
Yes.
to the appointment, right?
Yes.
I don't understand why people will be a bit miffed about that,
Yeah.
especially if they're in one office and their relatives are on another side of the country. Okay.
Yes, and that happens a lot. And for us, this is also a waste of time and a waste of money.
Yeah, absolutely, and doesn't put the country in the best possible light in
No.
that regard. Wow. Okay, that's pretty extraordinary. We had a comment that AIMA are not actually, they don't have a complaints book. Of all the agencies, the government agencies, they don't seem to have the Livro de Reclamações. On that note, do you think AIMA, I mean, they've got a massive job to do, to be fair to them, massive backlog, difficult situation, and that's exacerbated by people genuinely wanting to come to a great country and culture, right? We are victims of our own success here, you might say, in people wanting to come to Portugal.
But let me tell you something. There is a book. There is a complaint book.
Oh, there
it's
is.
not,
Okay.
yeah, it's not online, but they have it physically there. So when you are there,
for what it's worth, you can write in it.
Yes, you can write in that. What happened, I'm going to tell you, there was someone that used to work with us in A, and she was very, of course, that everyone gets nervous with this situation. And she wanted to write in the book all the time, because she said, this is not fair, this is not fair. And you know what happened to her? She got blocked. No one would take care of her when she arrived in AIMA, so we had to put her working on the background. So
the book is there physically, but do approach that with some discretion and caution if you're going to be doing that. It's a big question, Gilda, but are AIMA actually making things better with the legacy left to them? Generally speaking, I know it's awful for some individuals, and generally it's a pretty grim picture. But is the flow in the right direction? Are things getting better, or are they just making what they inherited from Seth worse, do you think?
Well, I think that Seth was working okay. They just needed to reinforce the team and had some new technology equipment. But then when they destroyed Seth, it was catastrophic. And then they put things in the IRN and the PSP, which is the public police, and that destroyed everything. So what they are doing now, it's the correct thing from my point of view. They are like rebuilding what was safe before. Yeah. Because it's going to be the same structure with another name. Yes. And I believe that in 1 year from now, we are not going to have all these problems, I believe.
I'm so pleased to hear that, and hopefully on two levels, the price of admission, as it were, to Portugal is worth it. All this trouble that people are going through ultimately is worth it, and I think there will be a lot of people in the chat who will say that. And yes, this will be behind us, as you say, in a year's time, and they will have got their act together, having dealt with this massive backlog and difficult situation that was thrust upon them. From a public satisfaction and employee satisfaction point of view, have you got any insight on that? I mean, what are their scores publicly, and how do employees feel themselves about working inside AIMA? Can you get any sense of that? Yes, of course. They are very tired. Right. They're very tired. They are working overtime without being paid, and they are taking so many processes at once. And sometimes what happened with them is that they are not nice to you, because most of the people that they get in a day are not nice to them. Yes, I can understand that. Yeah.
you know. But for my team that works with them every day, that knows them already, they talk with them and they know. So when they see someone going with my team, they are like, okay, I know no one is going to treat me bad now. This is going to be fine. Okay, hi, how are you? They make this conversation.
But
Because
it's going to be like a professional encounter rather.
yes, it is.
figuring
It
out
is
how-
because it can get lots of tension if the person gets there and then you don't speak Portuguese, and then they are not going to make an effort to speak in English unless you. But if you are nice with them, they are going to be nice with you back. If you say, okay, I understand your position, you have a lot of work right now, and it needs to work like that, like
Yes.
reverse psychology.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I think people should remember not to take it personally and to stay as human as possible in
Yes.
this difficult situation.
Because it's not easy for them also.
No,
It's
we
not
get
easy
that.
for
We
them.
get that. Yeah, we get that, and there's a lot riding on it, isn't there, for individuals? So it can easily get out of hand on both sides, I think. So that's worth remembering. I think you dealt with the idea of whether this is just political game playing or whether this is a useful change for Portugal. I think it's a bit of both, isn't it, from what you were saying earlier on, and all for the good ultimately, despite all the turbulence and difficulty. Perhaps this is the right that Portugal might be respecting itself or raising the standards in a way, notwithstanding the fact that many individuals here are feeling that the direct pain of that, and you're helping them through that, obviously, and that's what this is all about tonight. On a very tactical level, and my final question before we go to some of the questions that are coming up in the chat.
I'm sorry. Let just me add something very
Yeah, please.
important for this audition.
Yes.
We didn't have any problem whatsoever with visas being approved.
Right.
Okay, never.
In this process.
In this
Right.
process, during this process, because everything that was delivered according to the law was approved in time. We are not facing any troubles with this. We have more problems with AIMA here, but we try to address them one at a time, and we need to keep calm.
Okay.
I understand that it's not easy because people have documents expired and they want to go away and then they don't know if they can come back. But of course that the Portuguese government is not going to deny your entry in the country if they know it's their fault, and if they keep postponing these residency permits, which are not
very interesting. Okay, so
which are expired already.
And the problems are in the run-up, if you like. But the main course, once you managed to get in front of people, or the application is being seen after all of the difficulties surrounding that, you still maintain a very high success rate, and that's unchanged.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for pointing that out and sharing that. Tactically, practically here, just a final question, and I'll do my best to represent what's going on in the chat this evening. Can you still legally stay in Portugal while waiting for an appointment? This is a big worry for people, Gilda, isn't it? You feel like you're illegal, basically, when your paperwork's run out. And clearly the government has made some sort of attempt to address that. But tell us more about that.
Okay, so if you have a visa and your visa is expired, but you have a proof that you have an appointment, or if you have a proof that you tried to make an appointment and you weren't able to get an appointment, you'll be fine.
Right. Okay. And how do you do that?
You keep your paperwork, or if you want to feel safer, many people come to our office. And we do a comfort letter, what we call a comfort letter, where we explain everything based on the law.
Right. Okay.
So that people can feel secure and show. Sometimes we do it bilingual, and people can show and say, I'm here, I tried to do on this day, and I had an appointment, but it was rescheduled. And that's why, because if you are driving and a policeman stops you, okay? He's not aware of the rules of AIMA, and you need to explain all this story. And this is not comfortable.
No,
We said,
absolutely
okay,
not.
but and then you have this decree law, and then blah blah blah, and then so we write everything, all the summary
Yeah.
in a paper, and they just show to in the borders when they try to go to Spain in by car, everything, and we didn't have a problem with that. They usually say, oh, this is very well documentary, so yes, okay, and it's fine.
Yeah, okay. And I guess when the police see you getting a filing cabinet from out the back of the car, they tend to lose interest with all that paperwork that you've helped them create there, Gilda. Okay, that's it for the main questions I wanted to put to you. The most Googled questions about what the is going on with AIMA at the moment. I think we've dealt with that. Let's see what we can do with what's come across in the chat as well. And clearly, I mean, a main message here is it's never been more important to engage professional help with this. Given the complications that are going on. Of course, that's what you do. And premium members of Expats Portugal can even get a discount working with you as well. So a good reason to become a premium member. And also, we'll have a little bit of a lock-in after I've asked one or two questions here with the premium members again. So it's well worth becoming a premium member of Expats Portugal. Do so at expatsportugal.com. Right, thank you for being here this evening. If you could pass on the thanks to Renata. Gilda, stick around for a little bit longer. Thank you for being here. Charlie, Debbie, James, a few of our long-standing friends in the community here. Another part of what we do here at Expats Portugal is that great sense of community that people have. Go on, Gilda, what did you want to add?
I'm sorry, I just love this comment from Mr. S. Montenegro and Ventura are madly in love now. Marcelo doesn't seem to agree with their affair, and he's doing something about it.
Some analysis from Mr. S there, who's been in the country long enough to make that comment, I think. And his Portuguese is good enough as well. Jeannie, I have my NIF, my Portuguese bank account, but don't want to proceed further until I'm more clear about what will happen when I'm ready for an appointment. Now, it's one thing to be in the country and having problems, isn't it? And the perception from outside the country, I think, has been a little bit shaken for some people, as I think we might be able to discern from Jeannie's message here. What's your message to people who are waiting, Gilda, to see what happens? I made the point earlier on that we're really talking about the admission price, aren't we? Is it worth the trouble and the hassle? I think a lot of people in our community would say, absolutely it is. This is an amazing culture. I'm seeing some heads nodding there. I agree entirely. But it's not, and this process has become more difficult. And what's your message to people who are outside the country, whose only touch point might be this, a weekly webinar and what they're reading and getting terrified by online?
As I start saying that there is a lot of misinformation online, and I also pointed that most, like 90% of these problems are for people that came into the country with the wrong visas or without visas, and did something wrong in the AIMA appointments, except for those people that for some reason went to AIMA and unluckily they had to be rescheduled.
Right.
But they still have an AIMA appointment, so they're still legal in the country.
Okay.
We don't have problems with the visa, D8, and look, in the project of the law, they never mention the D8 and they never mention the D7 visa and anything to be changed in this type of visa. So it's all about family reunification. If you don't come with a visa, which, as you know, if you work with us, we always do the family reunification visa. Yep. So we come with an appointment. So that's not an issue for this community. It's not an issue for you to explain that you are having a house because you already do that. Mm-hmm. So most of the changes that they are requesting, you that work with professionals or you that attend to these webinars already know and already do it. So yeah. This is not, 90% of this is not going to affect you.
Right, okay, so stand strong. Is that the
yes, yes. The only thing that, now I'm going to go further. The only thing that can make you think twice, in my opinion, if I were in your shoes, the only thing that can make you think twice is about the nationality law.
Yes.
Because if you do want to become a Portuguese citizen, that might change. Okay. However, remember that you are going to have a residency permit that it's going to make you being able to move all around the Schengen space. So I think that the main point, if you are having some doubts, it's the nationality, because otherwise everything will remain the same for you.
I have a possible webinar idea here on that note. I mean, we should perhaps do a special on comparing, like going head to head with permanent residency and citizenship and the implications. I think that will be of interest to people. So perhaps we can return to that on another occasion. Thanks for that, Gilda, and that reassurance. Here's an issue for people that we need your insight on. Is the backlog in Portugal with AIMA causing the backlog here for visa approval? Our VFS appointment was on May 2nd, still no word. This is for people who've come here on holiday, and there's a danger of them outstaying their tourist visa. Could that be disadvantageous? Could that prejudice their visa process if they outstay their tourist welcome here? It's probably best not to do that, right?
Yes, at the moment that we are talking, it's not a problem. But if the law changes as it was presented, that can become a problem, because they state there very clear that they don't want people with overstaying in the country and then go back to have a visa. But at this point that we are talking, no problem at all.
Okay, and that addresses, there was a clarification required on that. I think that was for you, Deborah. So I think Gilda has clarified that. I'm not sure.
Yes, and if the process was in May, it's not delayed yet.
Right. Okay.
It's quite in time.
Yes.
And one very important thing, the backlog that it's going on with AIMA in Portugal, it's not affecting the backlog with the visas, because for the visas they hired 50 people to check on the visa process. So we are not feeling at all a backlog with the visas. So that's it.
Okay, that's good to know. So that's pretty much the status quo on the visa side there. Quickie from James. Boa tarde, Gilda. What do you think will happen to residency renewals required to add NISS to the database? So there was a little bit of trouble with that, wasn't there? People were being asked to add their social security number. What if they didn't have one? The form didn't work. What have you heard anything on that to clarify for us?
Yes, I did, and it is already reported to the authorities that problem, and they will need to readjust the informatic program, or we need to send them an email explaining and ask for maybe an appointment. In person.
Okay.
Because it's a bug on the system. They have several bugs. One of them is this one. They ask for the NISS, and they don't give a NISS to people that are not working. So it's a bug.
Of course, it's transferred from a different part of the software, hasn't it? And they're using us, as it were, to test the
this
software.
means that they don't talk with people that work with these things every day.
No, okay, fair enough. Harold, Deborah, Eddie, Anthony, thank you for your questions. Terrell, too, Mr. S, Christine, all of the Expats Portugal Premium members will spend more time with Gilda before or after I've concluded the recording, this first part of the session. If you want to review this, you can do so on our YouTube channel when it's published on Sunday, of course, but also as a premium member, you'll get access to the second part of the recording as well. They'll be available to you. Tony, thank you. Samantha, Connie, we'll get to all of your questions and we'll have last words from you, Gilda. And I think we've got something to share on the screen. Just one more question whilst I find that. What about the new strategy to close AIMA? I've not heard this, and have a branch of the National Police take on the role. I also heard they are beefing up a selection of claim offices. I don't know what that is, to directly help processing. Anthony seems to know a lot about the inner workings of AIMA here. What say you on this, Gilda? Another reshuffle or remix of AIMA, is that possible? Should they do that at this stage?
No, what they are doing is they are doing the same that CEF had before. They are creating a new unity inside AIMA to deal with people at the borders and with people that are not respecting the law and are overstaying, and that they have the residency permit denied because they don't comply with all the items from the law. Okay, so this is like a new police thing, but we had that before when it was safe.
Okay, all right. That's your question answered there, Anthony. I think you've got others, so stick around. We'll hang out with Gilda after. Before we do that and stop recording, are we seeing this on the screen yet? There, Gilda, are you seeing my share? I think perhaps not. The PDF. Have you got it at your end there, Gilda? Let me just try one more time on here. Are you seeing the PDF?
No.
Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah. No.
We are seeing it now. Good. Okay. So there you go. If all you hear from Portuguese authorities is "it depends," now we're getting used to that phrase, are we not? That means you can find in us a translator who will help you with the nuances of "it depends." You can employ EI to help you with that. Have you called AIMA 26,473 times? We can feel the emotional temperature of the gentleman on the left there. Without any answer, then we might be the answer here. Yes, if they're not answering, EI might be the answer here. Oh, what happened here? Having a meltdown with AIMA. Leave it with us because we deal with it every day, as Renata was doing before she joined us, and now she's gone back to do even more work in the office. And finally here, a shocked gentleman. Crisis, delays, lack of information, nothing that the A team, EI, with coffee and resilience can't handle, at least until the next AIMA update. Perhaps you should start one of those buy us a coffee things so that people can fuel you during the day and buy the team a coffee online. Perhaps there's Gilda. That might be an idea for the team. And I know you're partial to a bola de Belém as well from time to time. So remember that, folks, if you're passing by. Gilda, last word to you then before we pause the recording and go over to more questions from the premium members. If you could conclude this section for us, please.
Well, I think last words are, this is not as bad as people are painting it, and there is a lot of buzz around this because of social media. And at the end of the day, and I just pointed the changes here, we have three main changes, which are the family reunification, the illegal stayed in the country, that they might apply some consequences, and the seeking visa for only for highly qualified. So 3 changes that doesn't have to be with this audience, because you are not coming with, I guess, seeking a job visa, and you don't intend to come and stay here illegally. And if you want to come with someone from your family, you can apply with a visa. That's what we do. So there are a lot of concerns, but as far as it comes to the visa and residency permits, those are all the changes that they are discussing right now.
Interesting. And in many ways, I'm getting the impression that a lot of the difficulties people are facing in our community are like collateral difficulties, aren't they, caused by other areas of migration into Portugal? It's just the sheer workload, which is having a knock-on effect for the sort of visas and the processing that is going on for people within our community. So hang on in there, as Gilda says, it's not as bad as it might seem.
Yes, the only thing that is indeed complicated right now, it's the renewals of the residency permits. Okay. But they are addressing this issue, and they gave the date of 15th of October, and I believe that they are going to do something about it.
Gilda, thank you very much for being here tonight. Pass on our thanks to Renata and your whole team. Thank you for demystifying things for us this evening and helping us address the question what the is going on with AIMA. So let's pause the recording there and get to your more personal questions, Expats Portugal Premium members. And yes, sign up at expatsportugal.com if you're not one of them.